everyone, my name is Lena and I'm here to catch you up on everything that happened in episode 101 of Campaign 3 of Criticalrole, aka the finale of Downfall. This was a massive 6-hour-long episode, so I've actually split this recap into 2 parts. Apologies, part 2 will be out tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. I just didn't think I could get it all done in one episode. We pick up in the pocket dimension created by Salaha in the Ars Elysium. The Prime Deity and the Betrayer avatars are all together, along with the Archmage Cassida, and they begin to sort of prepare and plan for taking down the final thing keeping out the gods, the Latimus Princeps, the shield which surrounds the city. The mechanism powering it is built directly into the Factorum Malleus, the device which is designed, of course, to kill a god. Tashar asks, who is this mortal that has joined them? And the emissary calls her a god killer and a weapon maker and starts to rev up his armor, kind of getting a bit aggressive. Salaha, however, asks everyone to calm down and diffusing things. Salaha then gets a message from 4X that things are kind of going a bit crazy in the club, and he exits the pocket dimension to absolute chaos in the Ars Elysia, with tipped over tables, smashed glasses, and distraught guests. This is the result of Aor being buffeted by the winds of the Stormlord. Reaching to his divine power, which is still there but now feels a little tenuous, like it could slip at any moment due to the panic of the people who would normally be worshipping him, Salaha uses his magic to stabilize the club.
You separate the Ars Elysia from the rocky foundations beneath it, and everyone can sort of see these things that looked ornamental, 2 massive gears on either side of the room, and you see the both of them kick into action and begin to gyroscope the entire bar so it stays oriented towards Exandria's gravity as whatever happens outside is happening.
And then suddenly I look to the musicians and I'm like, keep playing! And I kind of move away.
Yeah, chorus looks out and says, "You heard the chosen one. 2, 3, 4.
As Salaha goes to enter back into the pocket dimension, Umleta descends from a rope, finally reappearing again and joining him. Meanwhile, Cassida is kind of freaking out because she can sense that something is amiss with a bunch of the people in this pocket dimension. So Triss casts Calm Emotions on her and just asks her to calm down and to trust her, and there are things that she doesn't understand. Cassida looks warily around the room as Amhira puts an arm around her asking for today's passcodes. This just makes Cassida panic even more, and she attempts to teleport away until Salaha counterspells. The betrayers are all gearing up to attack Cassida, and Amhira attempts to calm her down. She rolls an insight check as she looks into her eyes.
You see an obsessive, single-minded focus on saving the gods. And working on this weapon, fully believing that she could turn Aor as a society to a purpose to end the calamity, save you and Exandria. And
Amhira, who herself, or at least in her matron form, also passionately pursued a lifelong single purpose, a single dedication to become a god. Cassida realizes that some in the room are actually betrayer gods, and she asks how they are here together when they are supposed to be at war.
It's been decades since some of you have been sighted. The calamity's not... This isn't a lull at all. It's a truce.
Father Milo tells her that there is not a line between good and evil, but instead a line between those who matter and those who don't. No prizes for guessing which side he thinks he's on. This absolutely breaks Cassida, who realizes that everything she's believed for her whole life, everything that she's worked for, has come to nothing. The Prime Deities don't want the betrayer gods to be killed. They consider them family, and in fact, they are currently working together to destroy Aor. Salaha recommends that they move on as they don't need to explain themselves to mortals, and Umleta agrees, showing them a recording that she made of a meeting between a Castriel, the solar angel, and the archmages of Aor, including someone called Selena who made Salaha's body, or like Salaha's frame. A Castriel tells the mages about the god's mortal forms and says,
"I cannot abandon the truths they laid before me. They can. They left me. And if you don't believe me, and you see he hands a small glass talisman, one that you recognize, Amira, because you wear one just like it. Let this serve as proof. You see that both archmages take the talisman, looking into it, and can see something that you cannot see in the recording as their eyes go wide with horror and amazement.
A guard bursts in, informing the archmages that the obtenebrator engine is down, and they start hurriedly preparing to fire off the Factorum Malleus. The gods realize that they gotta go, and Cassida realizes that it is about to go down, and she begs the gods to let her help. She says that she can take them to where the final copy of the plans for the Factorum Malleus is, which is a sort of hall of scrolls in the Genesis ward, and they can destroy it, or they can take it, and they can do whatever they want with it.
You won't have to do anything to the city. You won't have to do anything to anyone's families. You won't have to do anything to my son. You won't have to do anything to any of it. We can just erase the knowledge and destroy the machine, and that'll be that. I promise I can. I'm sorry, I thought I was a fool.
Amira ensures that she will do this by casting a command spell on Cassida, who automatically decides to fail the save to prove that she's going to do it. Amira then sends her familiar Dearest out over the city so that she can get a lay of the land, and she sees that skyships have been deployed in an attempt to tether and stabilize the city in the growing storm, but they are just unable to. It's too powerful. The storm is being sent by a god, and hundreds of people die as ships crash. People are blown over the side of the city. Mages flying off into the storm attempting to escape get buffeted and struck down by lightning. In the storm itself, 100 miles away, a huge dragon wing fills the sky, likely that of the platinum dragon Bahamut. As they accompany Cassida back to the Genesis ward, she explains to them how the Latimus Princeps works, explaining that it is powered by 7 wards on the machine itself. If they can destroy those wards, the Princeps will go down, but there is a fail-safe mechanism, which is if the wards all get taken out, it will activate the Factorum Malleus as soon as it happens. They will need to disanimate the Factorum Malleus once the wards come down to prevent it from firing. She warns, though, that the energy blast that will be released once the Factorum Malleus is disanimated will be enormous. After that, there are just 3 archmages who know the full scope of the project and could possibly rebuild it again: Selena, Adamar, and herself.
I understand what it means that I know. So my son has family in the Opus ward, and if you can bring him to them, and if they can get to... If the city is safe, he has family.
I just go to her and I hold her. Thank you. We would not be able to do this without you.
I understand. And she goes to someplace internal in her mind and does not look at you.
Right. Once you've done drinking.
As the city of Aor rises to defend itself with its armies of soldiers and mages, a whole section of the city just disappears.
Nothing bad's gonna happen to that. That's never gonna come back to bite us, ever. Not one, no. Shit. I was waiting for it. Shit.
Oh no.
There it is.
Save Goosebumps.
This is the Cognos Award, and if you want to know a bit more about why the cast reacted this way, then you can check out my previous video where I explain it there. This ward, teleporting away, rips a hole in reality, preventing anyone else from teleporting, except for, very conveniently, the avatars of the gods. Asha taps into her worshippers, the rats and the vermin and the insects of the city, and finds a way that they can get through underground tunnels without being detected. As they're making their way through these tunnels, the emissary speaks with Cassida,
and takes a massive claw and dips it into the waters running underneath and holds it in front of her.
Mm-hmm.
Not good or bad. Family. And I tip it as the water runs out. And balance. Understand.
I am going to do as you have asked, but I will ask a favor in return. Make up your mind if I am given to understand this world or not.
As they get ready to split off, with some going with Cassida to ensure that she does destroy the scroll like she said she would, and others taking on the Factorum Malleus, Father Milo says that he is not going to trust the Prime Deities alone with Cassida and the plans for the Factorum. I mean, Cassida, after all, did help build a machine to kill them, the betrayers, not the Primes, so Umletta agrees to go with them as well. They arrive at the place where these scrolls are stored, and there are just stacks and stacks and stacks of them, and they contain all of the known names of the gods that have ever been said or written down, and there are Aeomaton, like little crab creatures that are running up and down the scrolls, reading them over and over again. Trist, who is clearly distressed about what has happened with Cassida and what they're about to do, asks the knowing mentor why she thinks it's a bad idea to destroy this place.
I just think it's wrong to destroy knowledge. I just think it's wrong. And I don't need to explain myself to my siblings, and I think that all of us have gone back on things that we have said we would do here today. And I'm reaching the limit of what I can stomach.
I feel the same way. This is making me sick.
No half measures.
The group splits from here, with Cassida, Arcadia, Umletta, and Trist staying in the Hall of Scrolls, and the rest heading to the Factorum Malleus. As they come into the space where the Factorum is being held, they see it is an enormous, 15 stories high chamber with the sounds of arcane engines whirring and machines powering, and we get to see this incredible map. So cool. Atop the Factorum is Adama, Selena, and this huge solar angel. This is a Castriel. There are also 2 huge automata called Irrevocables, and a handful of other archmages as well. Salaha approaches because he is technically still a citizen of Aeor and hasn't been discovered yet, so he can infiltrate much more easily, or at least so he thinks. Unfortunately though, as soon as he arrives, the angel Castriel asks him, "Are you really just a mortal?" And using the ability Divine Awareness, automatically senses that Salaha is lying and draws his sword.
And I'm gonna need everybody here to roll initiative!
So fast.
This battle has a very cool mechanic in that the 7 wards on the Factorum Malleus are powering the Latimus Princeps, so every single time they take down one of those wards, they gain access to more of their divine powers, as their sort of big proper celestial forms in the sky are able to access Aeor. If they take out all of them, their mortal avatars will be able to assume full godhood. So the battle begins. First up, the emissary dashes in, hurling their scales of justice at one of the wards, shattering it and unlocking divine prowess, which grants all the avatars doubled skill checks and doubled passive skills.
If I have a passive perception of 21, I now have a passive perception of 42.
42. That's good.
Yo, sneak by me.
2 of the irrevocable automata hunker down over 2 of the wards, protecting them, and one of them swipes at Salaha and the emissary as the Factorum spins by, blasting them with radiant damage and stunning them. Directly behind them, a Glabrazu appears from invisibility and punches the party with its claws. And now Feshni also appears, and then one of the mages transforms into a dragon.
I
You guys are the gods.
fucking knew it.
So it's demons, it's angels, it's dragons, it's all of it.
my.
It's all coming. Everybody pissed, everybody mad.
Yay! I feel like anytime you get a dragon in Dungeons and Dragons, you gotta give a little clap. The dragon breathes fire over them, and Zahasht rushes, or waddles forward, I should say.
Charge!
Still not on the table.
You see, Tashar is like, we literally could pick anybody. Any kind of creature. It was totally our call. I don't get it.
Hera, who is currently invisible, sends a mote from her prepared spell Crown of Stars to one of the upper wards, and she then casts Shatter on one of the Irrevocables, but unfortunately it rolls a nat 20, so it only takes half the damage. A Castriel then appears by Mhira and slashes at her with his greatsword. As he goes in for a second swing though, Aiden, using a protective bond, teleports in front of her to shield her.
Yeah.
And his sword will drive into me instead of her. And I will say, you and I will have words.
I'm just gonna peek around and go, Daddy's mad.
I am not of the cycle. It is not given to me to die. You made me. You made me to serve, and serve I would. Why are your children bound by rules you will not follow? If you would have words with me, I'd sooner you dash me upon the rocks of this cursed world. Father!
Asha moves in and climbs up onto the Glabrazu using her spear to stun him, and then she ducks behind him to hide from the dragon. Another mage leaps from the platform, turning into another dragon, a silver dragon. Yay. A Castriel hits Imhira with a blinding gaze, and the silver dragon breathes a paralyzing flame, hitting Zahasht. Tashar then leaps over a Castriel and stabs into the brass dragon. Meanwhile, we cut over to Trist in the Hall of Scrolls, where she feels something buzz in her pocket.
Mom?
How dare you right now? Hi, baby.
You see, he says, I'm here with Haley and Dad, and it's getting kind of scary. Do you think, I don't know how much longer you're going to be, do you think it's possible to send ships back here to Hawks Hill? And people were supposed to come back and they're not coming back, and there's sounds coming from the forest and people are starting to run, and I think some tents are on fire.
Where's your dad?
He's right here. Hi, darling. I'm here. There's a man named Pervon here. You hear in the back, it's normal where I come from. And you see, he says, I'm not sure. He says that he's looking out for us, but we don't know what's happening.
Listen. Go with him. Go with him. Take the family and go with him, please.
You hear a voice call out and say, where is your daughter? And you see that Topher says, she left. She thinks she can help. And you see Amaris goes, what? What do you mean she left? She's going to the edge of the encampment. Dad, let us help. You know that there's something we can do. And you hear a humming of a young boy with a light inside him. Amaris says, darling, I don't know what's happening, but I think I'm scared. All right? I think I'm scared.
Listen. I can't come back home. I'm not going to be coming back home. I'm very sorry. I just need you to get to safety. Okay?
Amaris, I'll do everything I... Screams. Oh God. Okay. I'm gonna do everything I can. And the sending stone goes silent.
At the encouragement of Arcadia, Trist rushes out of the hall and goes to the Factorum Malleus to be with her family, with her divine family. And then we all take a quick sob break, right? Back at the Factorum, the party and the mages continue to do battle with spells being slung left, right, and center. Adama casts a Finger of Death at Salaha, but thankfully Salaha just makes the save, and the damage at least is reduced to half, leaving him with just 46 hit points. Aiden casts Sanctuary on himself and Mass Cure Wounds on everyone. And then Selena teleports Salaha to herself up on the platform, grappling him. Father Milo appears.
All is well. The Dawn Father's light is all around us.
And finally...
Aiden is a solar in front of him and fucking Father Milo behind him. And has never been more unhappy.
But he doesn't actually seem to do anything in the battle. On top of the Factorum, one of the mages says that they must fire the weapon at any cost and leaps into the air, turning into, you guessed it, another dragon. This is the undead dragon Ataro.
Demons, 2 massive constructs, and like a half dozen archmages. Okay.
Fuck.
This is a fight worthy of the
My
gods.
God.
Fuck.
This is a fight worthy of the gods.
Get out of this spot.
I see.
Yay. The dragon swoops down, frightening the emissary and Salaha. That was all just a single round of combat. Holy moly. There is still so much to go in this episode, so I will be back tomorrow with part 2. In the meantime, you can check out my deep dive into the episode where I talk about some of the lore and also just my general reactions to things. You can check that out right here. Bye!